Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Decisions Lunch and Learn. I'm going to be your host for today, Gregory Goldston, on December the 8th. I am from the training team, if you didn't know that already. Let's go over some of the stuff you see on the right of your screen there. On the top right is going to be a QR code that takes you to our Decisions Training YouTube channel. Here, you can find helpful videos in order to understand how to use different parts of the product, such as all of the CSV and Excel steps, how to work with the Kafka module, how to implement AI into decisions, and many, many more options. So we highly recommend taking a look there if you want to learn these new things, as well as take a look at previous Lunch and Learns. That's where we upload all the previous videos. So if you want to see how we addressed a particular question you had from weeks or months prior, you should see it uploaded there. Below that is going to be a link to our Decision Solutions Marketplace. This is going to be a location where you can import accelerator projects. These projects are going to allow you to be able to work with these projects directly, reverse engineer to understand how they work, or test and implement them into your own design. You're going to find such projects such as the AI Fuzzy Finder, the Loan Origination app, the Jira ticketing system, and many, many more. And then the last thing I want to show you is that QR code at the bottom there. Decisions has joined forces with Process Maker to create something truly transformative, a combined company that's designed to expand what's possible. This is going to give you the power to move faster and operate smarter with greater flexibility and control over software and systems. If you want more information about this combination, visit the QR code right there. That is going to take you to a link to the blog post, and the blog post itself contains a link to the official press release in case you want to view that as well. So with that all being said, I'm going to transfer over to my decisions environment now, and I'll start taking y'all's questions. You can drop them in the Q&A section, and I'll be glad to address them. So let me stop the share of this screen and start the share of this screen. Alrighty. Well, we are inside of my decisions environment right now. I'm on an unstable build of version 9.18. That means that this is one that isn't completed yet, not fully released to the public. It doesn't have all the fixes and stuff yet, but this will still give you a preview of some of the new features that have come to 9.18. Now, while I'm talking about that, I'm going to bring up my participants list as well as the Q&A section to be ready to address anything that may be asked. So I don't have a lot of new features yet to showcase, but I do have some. So let's go over here and let's start talking about these. First one I'm going to show off is the form effects. Sorry, the outcome effects button. So let's see. Outcome effects showcase. This is new in version 9.18, and it allows you to specify if you want to show an interaction effect. When you check this, you can specify which colors you want to be used in this effect. So let's say I were to do, we're near Christmas time, right? Let's do red, green, and white. Play count is how often you want these to be able to be, I guess, released from this button. I'm going to put a play count of 1 to start so I can show you the difference. Fade speed is going to be how much they want to fade, like how long it takes for them to fade. This should be in seconds. And then particles is going to be how many particles actually display. So let's set this as something like 50 for now. So you're not going to see a lot of these, but this will give you an idea of how this button works, and then I'll be able to go into more details afterward. Now, I need to make sure that I also add this to a flow so that we can view it, right? So let's drop this form. Let's go into another form. Oh, you'll notice something new here. My start step is going to automatically connect to the first step I drag on, as well as these grid lines that appear whenever I'm trying to align steps. It's pretty handy. All right, let's pick this. And now if I drag this over here, let's give it a save and give it a debug. Alrighty, now if I click submit, there's the confetti. So this is the particle effects button, and you can add it to different kinds of button in decisions. So one of the options is an outcome button. I think one is the event button. Let me check. Yes, on the event button, to raise an event to trigger an active form flow. You can also show an interaction. I don't know about the close button or the sub dialog button, but let's take a look. Let's see, for the sub dialog button, it looks like this is an option as well. So if you want to run a sub dialog flow, you have the ability to trigger this interaction, as well as on the cancel button. So the cancel is an outcome button, right? Let's see if a close button takes it. I'm not sure. Yes, yes, it does. So a cancel button, well, this is not actually a unique cancel button. It's actually just an outcome button. These are both outcome buttons. But this is actually a close button, and this close button will also trigger these particle effects. So that has been added to decisions. Another new feature, I don't really have the module declared as a dependency here, but if you work with the Experian module, you have the ability now to get a Premier profile, which is going to be a service that Experian offers. So you can run a decision step to fetch that. Let me show you how this works. First, let's go to configuration, dependencies, and let's declare dependency to that Experian module. And there it is right there. So with a dependency to the Experian module, if we go back inside of our flow that we were at before, and I go under all steps, Experian, this new section right here has been added in version 9.18, which allows you to fetch a Premier profile on whichever target you specify. Once that's done, you're going to see all the different resulting outputs from this. So if I hit expose properties, you should see all of these results. And results are going to be a lot. But yeah, it is a pretty nifty tool. So that has been added in version 9.18 as well. We currently don't have any questions right now, so I'm going to give it a little bit longer. But if no one else shows up during that period, or if we don't get any more questions during that period, we will wrap it up early. Okay, there's been a new update as well, and I don't have a way to demonstrate this currently, but I can talk about it. So if you are running decisions over HTTPS, which is going to require a certificate, if that certificate expires or if that certificate needs an update for any reason, you used to have to restart decision services in order for that update to take effect. That is no longer the case in version 9.18. You can simply apply the certificate update, and decisions will update with that certificate after re-entering the web browser. You do not need to perform a service restart anymore. All right, what else do we have in here? We do also have a textual comparison for formulas now. We've been adding quite a bit of these as of late, but I can show you how this one would work. So if I go to the rule and then we go to the formula, I can just call Formula One, that's cool. Before I continue on Formula One, however, we do have a question, and that is from Manal. Good morning. Is there a way to have an option to assign the assignment to a specific security group? For example, end user can select which security group they want to send the approval to. The answer is yes. Here, I'm gonna allow you to talk. Let's go over this real quick. So I just created a form, so we'll use that same one and we can go over this. So this is going to be assigned to a group, and you want the group to be dynamic, correct?
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so what I'm trying to do is just on the form, like you know how like on the drop down we can select whoever we want the form to send to. I was wondering if there's a way to search a group they want to send to and then it just goes to. It's kind of
Hmm.
confusing. It's not
So
a
there's
specific group that I'm always sending to. It's just the user selects who they want this form to send to, the specific group.
Yes, that's absolutely
Mhm.
possible. So let's
Sweet.
talk about that right now. We're going to need a combination of a
Mhm.
few different steps here. We'll grab one form where they specify, and then this is what will get sent to the user, right? So who does it go to, and then we'll send this form out to them. Is that making sense? Or are you trying to specify, maybe this isn't clear. This drop down, are the users determining where an assignment goes that is the same form they're looking at?
Pretty much, yes. So, well, so I have a form which has all the bunch of questions, and then in the end, it asks you like, oh, where do you want this form next to send to? And then they're able to. So I have a specific category of forms like BI form, a group which has like about 26 groups in it, and they should be
Hmm.
able to access any of them and be like, oh, I want to send it to cars, and then it selects it, it goes to that group, and all the people get notified and get an email that hey, this assignment is assigned to you. I was trying to do that, but I can't understand if there's it's a good how is a good way to do it, or even if it's possible.
It is possible. Let me address
Mhm.
that. It's absolutely possible. So we're going to need the help of an internal services here. So we're going to do that. We're going to grab that over here, and we are going to use group service. And then let's see, what is it called? Add new group. Oh, you know what? I don't, if I'm just going to get all the groups, I can just use hold on. Let's do this. Let's fetch the group type. There we go. We'll just get all the groups that way. Okay, so we are going to create a new form here, and this form is going to be the survey form. Okay, so they'll have all their questions up here that they'll answer, all the stuff they'll put in, right? So I'll just put first name, last name for now, because that isn't really relevant to, this functionality. And now they need to drop down, and that drop down is going to contain all the groups that they can send it to. So send to, and now for this drop down, we want to specify the type group. Okay. And then we pick a display field for this group. So that should be, I think it's entity name. It might be group name. Let's take a look. There is no group name. I'm going to assume it's entity name for now, and we'll switch it later if need be. Data name, this will be list of groups. Okay. So they're going to select a group to send it to. Now, this can be a multi-select box, and the same logic still applies. I'm just doing it with one for now to show how this routing would work. All right. Now, quick question on the survey form, because this does affect how we do this. Was the first user in this form assigned the form, or did they pull it up from some other means and it's in session?
Um, Pull it up. So it's not assigned to them. No.
It's not assigned. Okay.
Mm-mm.
In that case, we will need to copy this. All right. So let me make a copy and a paste real quick, because this is definitely going to matter for how this functions, because we can't change an in session into an assignment dynamically, but you can copy it and assign it to whoever is specified on the outcome here. All right. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go to assignment setup. It's down here. Click edit, specify accounts and groups, and I am going to pull from join array. Sorry, build arrays. And now I believe I want the group that is sent to right here. So this is going to be the selected group that the user output. All right, so I'm going to pass that in here. Hit done. Now the assignment does need a name. That can be constant, that can be from flow. Okay, and then constant name here, test. Let's just call him test. Test assignment, the action name is test. Okay. So I'm just gonna loop this back to the end for now. We can continue this process later for looping back and creating like that loop. But what's going on here is you have a user that is gonna trigger this action. It's gonna assign it to whoever specified here, and then they can complete it. So for example, if I were to click debug on this right now, I would put my first name and last name. All right, and now I can assign it to, oh, did my fetch not go through properly? Oh, no. You know what the problem was? I didn't map the results. It kind of needs that. Kind of needs that to actually populate that box. All right, let's try that again. All right. And now we can specify which user to send it to. So let's say I want to send it to administrators, hit submit, and it just came up to me because I'm an administrator, right? So I can complete this assignment now. Now, so that's the first part of the logic. That's dynamically specifying the group and it goes to that group. Is that making sense or is that not quite addressing what you were asking?
No, it makes sense a lot. And the only thing is like, so for example, you have all users, right? You have administrator. What if we just want to restrict them to see only like those specific groups? For example, if I have all users, they should be only able to see only the groups that are under that all user folder. I'm not sure.
Mm,
Yeah, because
you
we
can
do it like that.
absolutely do
Hmm.
that. Yeah. So that restriction should come with the fetch entities. So right now I have a group with no fetch criteria, right? But we can
Oh,
specify that. So you can give it so like created by or can only add in subgroup. There are a few different options that you have here to perform that. I don't know exactly the logic that you need, but this would be the way to do that.
got it.
And if it still doesn't work, what I would do, let's say this fetch entities does fetch the groups, but you can't find the proper filter on it, go to integration, call that internal service, go to your group service, and now you'll see that there are a lot of different ways to get groups by certain, like get by group name, get by group name, so you can specify those statically, dynamically, get a counselor group. There's a lot of ways that you can restrict that access through this step here. And this would take over your fetch entities instead.
Gotcha. Do you have this in version 8 too, this step under internal services? Not sure if I'm.
Yes. So in version 8, we didn't put them all in one step and you
Mhm.
searched it by name. So
Oh, okay, okay.
instead, yeah, so if you're looking for it in version 8, you couldn't, let's see, it would be under integration, internal
Mhm.
services, and then you'd see a bunch of different categories on under that. You would select the group service dropdown and you can see all the steps there.
Oh, okay, okay. Because yeah, it does have a bunch of them, and then I do under internal services.
And then group service underneath that.
Gotcha.
Yep. So that'll have all the same steps to mine. There may be like one or two that are slightly different that were added, but you should have the majority of those steps in there.
I see it now. Awesome. I was like, where did they go? Where did it go? Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Cool, cool. One thing you may want to
Mhm.
check with that as well is let's say that the person completes this survey here, right? And then that, are you trying to create like an infinite chain where people can continue to send it to different groups?
No, just one time. So, for example, the person submits to workflow, and
Hmm.
then they select a group. It goes to all those people. It sends an email with the approval form, and then they accept it, they approve it or reject it. If it rejects it, it goes back to the same person who submitted it. And if they approve it, then it just goes to like finalized, pretty
Okay.
much. Hmm.
All right. Ooh, ooh, now, oh, wait a minute. That's a little bit different. So if one out of those people reject it, it should be rejected.
Yes.
Ooh, okay,
And there's like
that's
26 people in a group.
26 people in a group. Okay. So,
And then my thing was also like, should I build a private flow inside to send an email to that group? How would that work? Do I just.
so let's talk about what this would mean then. So
Mhm.
if you fetch entities and you do a survey like this and you send it to a whole group, it sends one assignment to the group. The moment someone completes the assignment in that group, it goes away for everyone. So what we need to do is dynamically assign a list of users. Yeah, so this is actually going to look a little bit different, all right? We are going to need something like this. Start linked flow async. Let's do this. So the user is going to submit it. This subflow is going to contain this tool right here. Actually, here, here's what we're going to do. Drag this here, this here. Can I create, hold on. Oh, I need more than one step for a subflow. Okay, that's not a problem. I can just copy this over and pull it in. That's not an issue. Copy, create flow, create new. If it doesn't copy over, we got another way to do this. Okay. Process assignments. We're going to do that. Ha! It worked. Nice. Cool. All right. Drag this over. We'll work out the logic inside of this subflow in a moment, okay? But let's talk about this. All right. So what we'll do is these will get processed, right? And this will actually loop through and run each one async so it can process it to a different account in that group, okay? So here's how this is going to work. We need an internal service step for this. We're going to go to integration, internal services, call decisions, internal service. We're going to want group service again, and it's going to be get accounts for group. All right. That group ID is going to be the one that gets specified here, sent to this group. Group ID, group ID. There we go. Okay, and now it's going to fetch all of the accounts that are for that group. All right. So all the accounts for that group are going to get put right there. We're going to need a for each element, something that's going to loop through them. So we have this, this. Let me get rid of this. This over here. Loop this back around. I don't want the done path on that, actually. I want this over here. And then we want this here, and then this here. Okay, cool, cool, cool. All right. Okay. So this can go through each individual assignment. This is going to go through all of the accounts. All right, so get account for group. This is going to go through the list of accounts. This is going to take an input of account. And then whatever other data type you need to fetch that. I just had first name, last name. I'll drop that in here, but if you need that to show up, that's how we'll do that. So we'll put that in. Singular account gets passed in. That account is now going to be where this gets assigned to. So instead of the sent to option, we're going to grab that account. You'll go to that account individually. So now each person has their own assignment in their own inbox. And then first name, last name get mapped in. Let's edit this form because there are a few things we need to do. One, we don't need to send it to it again. We just need to approve or reject, right? Oh, can I sync that? Reject. Approve. Okay. And then make these uneditable. Under behavior, uncheck that. Same thing over here. Under behavior, uncheck that. Okay, save those two. Now you got approve or reject, right? And then you have something that you may be able to like set a state to over here, right? When it's rejected, and then you don't set it to that state when it's approved. So what we can do, it's going to loop through every single one of these. Let me go over here. Oh, I didn't mean to edit it for that. Hold on. Give me a moment. I forgot it's the same form, so of course it's going to be a little bit different. Hold up. I thought I just saved that. Where did that form go? Hello? Here we go. All right, we're good. We're good. All right. And now if we go back into our flow, Okay, I don't know what's going on there. Hold on, let me do that again. Show form. There we go. All right, cool. We'll create a new form inside of here. We'll just make a copy of survey form and then that'll be the approve or reject. So exit out this, copy of survey form, delete that, reject, approve. Show form, copy of survey form. This is assigned. It's going to be assigned to the account that we passed in. Oh, build array. Okay, so now everyone gets their own assignment. There's a approve or reject. So I make that
Um,
constant.
Greg, quick question. So if everybody gets their own assignment, even though if one person approves it, it does goes away, right?
It
From
does
the
not
group?
now. Now it does not go away.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, no, yeah. When everyone gets their own assignment, now it does not go away if one person completes it. Everyone has their own version of the assignment to submit.
Gotcha.
And what we'll need to do is to make sure that we have some sort of way where if someone rejects it on this path, we have a few different options. We can either cancel all of the other assignments that were created so
Mhm.
that once one person rejects it, no one else can go forth. Another way would be to have a some sort of like set state for an entity that's tracking this, so the entity goes into a rejected state. There would also need to be some sort of count that would get the approved assignments, right? So when someone completes it, it would check if the assignment is completed. This is going to kind of depend on the rest of your process on how
Mhm.
you want to, like what you want to update and say it's completed. But this is kind of the overview of what you're doing here now. Is you're fetching your accounts. You have to go through them one by one. I did an asynchronous subflow because if you try to go one by one, on a non-asynchronous subflow, it will force the first assignment to be completed before it sends out the next one.
That makes sense.
Yeah, there are more ways to do this.
Mhm.
There's also a branch and merge, which I think I was branch step, merge step. And this has parallel processing involved, so you can actually end your entire, like it would wait on all of these to process, but you could route any reject path elsewhere in order for the whole process to end and to set it to like canceled or something. And that way, this is easier for the logic for tracking approve or cancel. It is not as easy for dynamically assigning how many different assignments you have, right? So if you, I'm assuming your group size varies. Not every single group is exactly 26 people, right?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So this would be a little bit trickier to manage in that way. There may be a way to execute a subflow for each merge and branch that would be able to dynamically assign. There probably is a way to do that. Dynamic merge branch passing here.
I think I may end up just doing the cancel as soon as somebody rejects it, because that makes the most sense. If any one person rejects it, then it should always get canceled. So nobody else goes in and approves it, their own assignment, and then the audit gets confusing.
Right. There are some use cases you want to kind of clarify
Hmm.
with that. Let's say that it cancels the assignment, but someone already has their assignment open while you do that, right? You'll need a check for something that says, oh, this has been put into a rejected state, and then we got something that said approved. This should not be allowed, right? Bypass this approved or something along those lines, just to handle those edge cases like that.
Gotcha.
Yep. But yeah, this is the
Hmm.
quickest way to send out like assignments to multiple people very fast.
Yeah, that's amazing because I couldn't figure it out how to even like assign it to just specific groups. I thought there was no way like you could even assign it to like the user can select the groups, which use group they want to send the assignment to. So this helps a lot.
Cool, cool. Yeah. And if you run into any more questions or trying to implement this, we're always glad to help.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Sure thing. Yeah. Have a good day. And with that, we have not had any more attendees or any more questions. So I think we're going to wrap this up early. Thank you all very much for attending and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow.